Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and I am sharing my family's journey to financial freedom on this channel. If you've been following me for a while, we paid off 6 figures worth of student loan debt back in 2021 and I am back sharing our financial freedom journey. So today I'm going to be sharing our monthly budget reconciliation or our budget closeout for February 2022. I like to do this every single month to just do a final check off of my budget, just make sure that we are spending according to plan and making any adjustments for the next month. So I love filming these videos. It's a really nice reflection point for me and it just gives me a good overview of how we are spending our money. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I will link my February budget above if you have not watched it yet, because that'll be helpful. You can kind of see our original plan and then what actually ended up happening. A lot of times they aren't the same, or not exactly the same at least. So for our W-2 income, which is just my husband and I's regular salary from our jobs, we both work full time. I am currently on maternity leave, but my salary is not changing right now. I am fully paid for my maternity leave, so I don't anticipate any salary changes for myself. We have been working with the same amount of money even though I am not currently working. We had anticipated $7,000 and we did receive $7,000, so no change for that. That was exactly what we had expected. And then every single month we do typically have side hustle income, so I share this on my Debt-Free Friday videos. If you watched my video on Friday, you would have seen that we had $725 in side hustle income, so that gave us an additional $725 to work with for the month of February, which is great. So that brings our total income for the month of February to $7,725. Now let's go ahead and get into our different budget categories for this month. So first we had our mortgage, which was $1,284. That was as expected. No change for that. I don't anticipate there being a change. We did have our homeowners insurance and our taxes come out. I think it was in this month. And I didn't see anything come through that was saying that our mortgage amount was going to change. So I'm not anticipating it to change. It does change occasionally if our taxes go up or our homeowners insurance goes up. Our homeowners insurance did actually go up, I think about like $150 for the year. So that was a little bit surprising to me. And then our taxes did also go up a little bit, but I think we had enough in like our escrow buffer and everything that I don't think it'll change our mortgage amount this year. So next we have our, cell phones. Not sure what I was trying to write there, but it was not cell phones, sorry. We had budgeted $130 and we actually spent $130. So $130 is for both my husband and I's cell phones. Then we have our Netflix, which is $15. And most of these don't really change very often. They're most of our fixed expenses, so these are kind of just the same every single month. Then we have our Peloton, which is $41. And I do round off these numbers just because it's easier for me to budget this way. And we do utilize a buffer. So any of the amounts that, like the pennies and cents and all that, that just goes into our buffer. So it just gives us an additional buffer amount. Then we have our internet, which we are currently paying $60, which is great. And that is at 0.8%. So then we have our giving category. We added this in January and I'm really happy that we did. It feels really good to have some money set aside in our budget to be able to give to either people, charities, that kind of thing every single month. That was $100. We did send $100 to a charity this month and that is at 1.3%. Then next we have our water bill. So we do pay our water bill quarterly. So this is not an expense that we have every single month. We did budget $225 and it was actually $236. So both our utilities, our water bill and our electric were both over budget this month. I think things are just really expensive right now. I'm not sure if water prices also went up, but I know that like electric and gas have gone up significantly. So it wasn't super far off from what I expected, but it definitely was more expensive than normal for this time of year. We typically don't use as much water in the winter months. So I was a little bit surprised that this was over budget. I thought it was for sure going to be under budget, but it is what it is. It's okay. And then for our electric bill, we had budgeted $200, which I knew was on the low side. So I figured we'd probably be a little bit over. Our electric bill was $231 for the month of January, which is actually not too bad. I feel like it was really cold here. So I was a little bit surprised that it wasn't actually more over than that, but it is what it is. We just deal with it. Our house is older. We don't have the best insulation. Our house was built in the 60s, so it's an older home. It's pretty drafty, so our electric bills in the winter are pretty substantial typically. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Spending. So my husband and I both get spending money every single month. We budget $200. We both get $100. We did bump that up. When we were still paying off debt, it was lower than that, but we did bump it up when we became debt free. So that is 2.6% of our income. Then we have our gas. So this is the gas for our vehicle. We budgeted $125 and we spent $96. I feel good about that. We have pretty typically not been spending the whole amount just because I'm still at home right now. Before I was on maternity leave, I was working from home, and now I'm on maternity leave. I have still just been home for the most part, and honestly with a newborn, we've been home more than ever. So yeah, $96, I feel really good about that. And gas prices have gone up, so we really only filled up I think 3 times. And one of them I don't think was even a full fill up. The gas prices have just increased a lot. I feel like in 2020 we were spending like maybe $50 a month on gas some months. The gas was so cheap, but everything has gone up in price. So we're just dealing with that. I don't anticipate we'll need to increase our gas budget though, because like I said, I'm still at home and I believe I'll still be working from home for a decently long time, if not possibly forever. Not sure, but I have not heard anything about going back to the office yet. So at least until my maternity leave is over in May, I will be at home. Groceries, we budget $600 a month. We did go over this month, which I was kind of bummed about. We spent $620. I still feel like that's not that bad. Again, I'm on maternity leave. I was really trying to be diligent this month, but honestly, the prices have gone up so much. It's just crazy. I really feel like we did a good job this month of meal planning for the most part. And yeah, we still went over budget. So that's okay. For the month of March, I really would like to do a better job of just making sure that we're going through the food that we have in our freezer, our deep freezer, and our pantry. I'm really hoping to do like a mini pantry challenge in the month of March, and hopefully that will make it so that we can stick to this budget. We will see. I'm not too mad about it. Like I said, it's $20. It's really minimal, and we have been doing grocery pickup because obviously I have a newborn. I'm not trying to take him into the stores. We didn't even go to Costco in the month of February. If you noticed, I didn't have a Costco haul because we didn't go. So I was actually really surprised, especially that we didn't go to Costco, that we still went over. I think that just proves to me that Costco does end up saving us money though, because we did have to buy a lot of the stuff that we normally buy at Costco at our local grocery store. So we will try to be better about it in March. I'm hoping we can get to Costco in March. It's just been really crazy. My husband's back at work. He only took 2 weeks off when we had our baby. Unfortunately, that is all the amount of time that he was allowed to take off, paid at least. He could have taken off unpaid, but that just would not work. We are just working with what we have right now. It's just a really crazy busy time of life. So that is fine. So next we have our fun/kids budget. So again, this is another category that we added in January. This is just one of those categories that I felt like we needed, especially in the summertime when we are out doing more things with our kids, out with our friends, etc. So we are about to start baseball season here in about a month and a half. So this will definitely be utilized during baseball because we do tend to like go out for ice cream after games and stuff like that. We did spend $42 this month out of this fund. So we were quite under budget, which again, I was anticipating because we just haven't really been doing that much since it's been winter here, but it's nice to have this money for like when we just want to go do something fun, and it just gives us a category where we can feel like not guilty about going out and spending money on our kids and just having fun. And then our miscellaneous budget is just kind of a catch-all category for anything else that doesn't fit into any of our other categories or sinking funds. We budgeted $200 and we spent $165, so we were a little bit under budget on this category as well by $35, and that was at 2.1% of our budget. And our last variable expense category is our dining out. We were a little bit over budget on this category. We budgeted $225 and we spent $246. So, you know, it is what it is. We definitely ate out a little bit more than I had planned this month, but with a newborn, it is just very exhausting and draining during the day. He is a pretty like high needs newborn, so I feel like 90% of the day I am holding him, feeding him, or changing him, or doing something with the baby. It has been quite challenging for me to, you know, make food for dinner, and my husband works kind of odd hours most of the time, so sometimes he's not even home for dinner, so I'm really like on my own. And yeah, we've been eating out more than I care to admit. But again, it's the season of life we're in. It is okay. I am just working with what we have. So next we have our sinking funds. So we do car, kids, home, vacation, and Christmas. So for car and kids, we had budgeted $50 each for these, and then the rest were $75. And we did send all of that to our sinking funds for this month. We're not super heavily focused on our sinking funds right now. We're really trying to build up our emergency fund, and then I'm hoping we can start to send a little bit more to our sinking funds at that time. We did have a car expense this month that was quite large. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw it. It was about $500. We had to get something done to my car. Honest to God, I can't even remember what it was. Sleep deprivation. I have the bill. I just don't remember what they had to do. So they did something to my car that needed to be done. And I also had to get an oil change and just some other maintenance. And so the bill was like almost $500. So I was very, very thankful that we had this car sinking fund. I did put more money into this. If you watched my March budget video, I did put more money into this category in the month of March to kind of try to replenish it, because that $500 expense almost drained this account. I think we have like $200 left. So I'd like to have a little bit more. We do have a newer vehicle. It's a 2018. It's got about 20,000 miles on it. So I'm not too concerned about like something huge popping up, but you know, that is always something that could happen. So yeah, I want to be prepared and I like to have at least like $500 in this account. So I'm going to build this back up slowly, but hopefully we won't have any expenses. Another thing about not having to drive as often is that we have not been having to get our oil changed and stuff and maintenance on our car as much, because we just haven't been driving it as much. Last category is our emergency fund. So this is where all of our extra money is going right now. So we sent $3,595 to our emergency fund, which was 46% of our income for the month, which is great. If you have followed me for a while, when we were paying off debt, we were targeting to send about 50% of our income to our debt. Now we have been more like 40 to 45%. Obviously, when we have more side hustle income, it does sway the percentage a little bit, but I like to stay around 40%. We have increased some of our spending money, so you know that has definitely affected it, but I feel really good about being able to send at least 40% to our financial goals. So I'm hoping we can stick to that for quite a while. And then just our little recap here at the bottom. So our total income, as we had talked about, was $7,725. We spent $7,386, which gives us a positive $339. So if you follow me for a while, you know that we typically like to get around a zero-based budget. However, for this month, we did have a larger buffer. $339 is definitely larger than normal, but we do have some medical bills. That was kind of my thinking. I did not send as much to our emergency fund as I theoretically could have. We could have sent another $300. However, I decided to just hold this $339 in our buffer for right now. I am still waiting for a lot of our medical bills from my son's birth to kind of process through. And as soon as that process is through, I'm going to start to pay off those medical bills. So we will be kind of using a mix of like extra income that we have. So we'll use some of this buffer money, or actually all of this buffer money probably. We will pay down the medical bills with that, as well as our HSA. So that is just our plan for now. I'm hoping we don't have to take all of it out of our HSA. I would like to try to cash flow some of it. So you might see that in the coming months if we do have a larger buffer amount. That is why we're kind of just trying to reserve a little bit of money to pay off these medical bills. We do live in the US, so our medical bills for his birth are quite substantial. They are about $6,800 after insurance. So yeah, we will be paying that off over the next few months. I don't want to let it linger too long, so I'm hoping we'll be able to pay it off pretty quickly. So we will probably take a decent chunk from our HSA. So that is all I have for February's budget closeout. Let me know in the comments down below, how was February for you? Did you stick to your budget? Were you over budget in some categories? I would love to hear about it, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys.